My week, as you probably saw, I released a video recently talking about kind of my infrastructure and my architecture between two private clouds. I guess I should say private clouds is probably the best term for it, but it's my home lab playground here at home, and now my some of my public services in a co-location. And man, the last couple of weeks I've been just trying to figure out how to organize all this stuff. Now, I know nothing's ever set in stone, and I know anything can change, and I'm more than happy and capable to make a lot of changes while keeping some of my services up or minimal downtime. But I've really been struggling. I feel like I have analysis paralysis, and I just need to choose something. Analysis paralysis when you just have too many options to where you don't make a choice, and that's what I feel like I have lately, especially when it comes to Kubernetes, especially. I mean, I think I feel like Kubernetes Helm charts are the new JavaScript libraries. Seriously, like every 5 minutes, there's a new Helm chart that does something slightly different than the one you used to use. So I've been having a lot of that lately, and I need to focus and be more pragmatic like it used to be, and say, hey, I'm gonna pick this. I'm gonna stick with it until it doesn't work anymore, or until there's a reason to switch. So I think I got to put that hat back on. I got to put that hat back on and say, hey, at the end of the day, like, it's fun to like keep tearing down my cluster, but I need to get some stuff working. Right now, a Home Assistant's not working. My homepage dashboard isn't working. None of my internal certificates are even here. I'm in between like two clusters, and sometimes you just need to figure it out. So but that being said, my at least my home cluster, I can do that now. That's the nice part about pushing some of my public services up to my private cloud, is that now I can just tear this down and have it down whenever I want. Plex isn't in there. Plex is not in the mix. DNS is not in the mix. So my wife's pretty happy. I can tear down stuff, and my cluster's been down for like 3 or 4 days straight. No one knows except for me, and that's okay. And that was part of the reason why I wanted to push some of that stuff up to my private cloud in the co-location about 5 miles away. So, anyways, that's what I've been working on. There was a lot of great comments, a lot of great feedback. I love this feedback loop, and I'm so glad that a lot of people are pretty engaged with comments and giving feedback. Because man, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome to put something out there and get feedback, and not just I'm not just asking for comments for the sake of the algorithm. I'm asking for comments like, hey, rate my setup type comments. I want the good, the bad, and ugly. So this is a rate my setup when it comes to my software architecture. But yeah, and on top of that, it's mostly open source. So I try to keep that in mind too, which is kind of tough to do. I mean, obviously my firewall's not, but almost every single else in that stack is. So, anyways, so let's see what you're working on. I should change the title. Say, what did you work on? So if you're working on, well, it's still Sunday. It's not done yet. It's not done yet. It's far from done here. So if you're still working on something, let me know. If you're working on something this past weekend and want to share it, let me know. And if you have plans for this week, let me know. Let's definitely talk about it. AFK Tactical, hey, 15 months. Thank you so much for the resub. 15 months, dude. 1 year, 3 months. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So let's see what you guys are working on. If we end up a little short, or we end up getting off topic, it's totally cool too. I'm just kind of in like this haze of like, oh man, I just wish I could get some of it done. So, anyways, I had this laundry list in my head that I need to get out. I need to put it down on paper, virtual paper, in a notepad or something, so that I can totally just not think about this stuff anymore. I don't know. I've just been struggling with my own cluster, trying to make good decisions. And there, like I said, I'm more than happy to rip stuff out and start all over. But oof, it's I need to keep going. So let's see. Test is working. Oh yeah, there we go. It's always DNS. Yeah, milkshake. Let's see. Sounding better than ever. Thank you. My sound checks and everything. Let's see. Aspectuck says, I installed Prometheus Stack and Harvester on K3S today. All went super smooth. Wow. Sorry. It was a scratch, not a pick. That is awesome. So Prometheus Stack. So you have you have monitoring and logging. Maybe you threw Alert Manager in there too. But you probably have some visualization too with Grafana and Harvester on K3s today. All went super smooth. So you have a K3s Kubernetes cluster, and then you added Harvester to the mix. And Harvester is a way to provision virtual machines the Kubernetes way, which is kind of new, but using KVM to define what your virtual machines look like, and then you can define your desired state of a virtual machine, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Basically, Kubernetes, you can create a custom resource definition. It's what you use for almost anything that's not native to Kubernetes. You have a resource definition of a virtual machine. I'm making this super high level. And you describe what the virtual machine is going to be, and then you push it up or click buttons, and then your virtual machine gets provisioned. So pretty awesome. I think it's about time I take a look at Harvester yet again. I did a video on it a while ago. It's pretty early on, but I think it's almost time to look again because I don't know. There's something to be said about taking this hard, complex thing like creating virtual machines. Whether you do it with Terraform or with Ansible. But kind of turning that upside down and saying, hey, well, let's do it in Kubernetes and define these resources in YAML, and then, get all the benefits of Kubernetes. So yeah, it's interesting to think about. I'm glad it went smooth. That's one that a lot of people have trouble with. They just wrapping their head around how does this fit in, and then they try to do the whole Inception thing. And I'm while I used to be a fan of Inception stuff, it racks my brain now. And what I mean by that is using Harvester to provision the Kubernetes cluster that you're on and running Rancher inside of that. It's like, whoa, been there. But yeah, awesome. Glad to see it. Cadis. Saturday already. I wish it was it was back to Saturday. That give me one more day to figure stuff out before, kind of back to reality. I think a lot of you guys are probably feeling like that too. It's like, ooh, could I have one more day to just, either veg out or work on some stuff? For me, it'd be work on some stuff for sure. Let's see. Horizon studying Python. Oh, interesting. Yeah. So, I've done a tiny bit of Python. Pretty cool. I'm not the greatest at it, but yeah, it's pretty cool. So you're studying it. I assume you're using some kind of tutorial to follow along to do something. Sounds awesome. I need to learn a little bit more. Well, Go is the one I want to go after. But I've done some Python, but I need to learn a little bit more Go. It's becoming super duper popular too. I mean Python's already popular, but Go is definitely popular too. Hi Mootbot, how's it going? Have you thought about using K9s, a Kubernetes management tool? It's a terminal based, but awesome. Yeah, I have before, and I've used it. Yeah, so yes. So yeah, I've used K9s. It's almost like you say, a management tool, but it's all terminal based, but gives you some super quick options to do some super quick things in Kubernetes. So yeah, it's definitely fun. It's definitely fun to use. I'm pretty comfortable with just the terminal and kube control commands, although they are super long and I have typos galore, so it kind of bugs me. But yeah, K9s is a great it's a great step in between having a full-fledged web UI, but you still want to use the terminal. But yeah, I've used it. It's pretty awesome. You can definitely explore things a lot easier because it's visual, right? Just like UIs, but it's in the terminal. But it's like a terminal representation of UI, maybe some ASCII bars or something like that. But pretty cool. Yeah, I have used it. It is awesome. It's been a while. I need to check up on it, see if anything's changed. But it's pretty awesome. Aspectook. Gonna try Flux next. All right. Yeah. So, yes, man, you are trying all the hard stuff. No, but, so yeah, I mean, Flux fits right in, with almost anything you do. I do think, sorry, I got it's one of those days where my mustache is like poking me in weird spots. I mean, you may or may not know Flux, but once you get into Flux, you kind of have to buy into GitOps. And what do I mean by that? You kind of have to adopt a Git flow, because your Git repository becomes the source of truth. It becomes your current state, or your desired state, I guess I should say, is a better way to put it. Because, just because you desire it to be that way doesn't mean it's there yet. But anyways, so that becomes your desired state. So once you adopt that, you kind of got to stick with it. I use, I like you mentioned, you're using Harvester and stuff like that. I use Rancher and I use Flux. I use them both like in cluster. For one, just kind of overview, managing my cluster, discovery logs, like all of that stuff you do from a web dashboard, as far as like operations go. But then, for deploying my applications and everything in cluster, like if I want to make changes to my cluster, I use Flux. If I just want to like explore my cluster, look at logs, see how things are doing, or scale something down really quick and scale it back up, or I usually use Rancher for that because it's super easy. But yeah, awesome. Hi, hey, Jeno. Hey, how's it going? Exorthic. Hello, how's it going? Good to see you. Yakto, how's it going? YWS, Yakto. Oh, taking a break from the home lab for a couple of days to do some gaming. Yeah, PDX LAN, with the Craft Computing's guy. Yeah, you guys do this every year? Yeah, that is awesome. Taking a break from the homeland. Yeah, I think that's one of the few breaks you take to go to PDX LAN. So, dude, have fun. And it's also a charity event. I think so too. And so good luck. Let us know how it goes. What games do you guys usually play there too? I assume there's like huge LAN games there. Just curious what games you usually play. And I think I just overloaded my encoder because man, that was weird. Anyways, dude, good luck. Congratulations on taking a couple days off and going to play some games. That sounds fun. That sounds super fun, especially like the community part too. Just being surrounded by a bunch of people who also want to play LAN games. Yeah, count me in. Aspectic not tried, Jay. I assume this is Flux. I assume this is Flux. You have not tried it yet. I am Utpa. I was having issues with deploying Rancher in K3S, so I decided to take the Portainer route. Interesting. Yeah, it's it can be challenging. It can be challenging. I now install Rancher with Flux as well. So I have my Helm values or my Helm release like all in code, so I never have to worry about the parameters that you might have to change or your ingress controller configurations that you need to remember when you bootstrap it, like all of that stuff. This is why GitOps is awesome, because typically when you install stuff with Helm, you either you pass a ton of arguments to it, right? Like for Rancher, it'd be Helm install Rancher. The host is this. I want whatever my TLS like sans alternate names are these things, and you pass in all these arguments to the binary of Helm to then install the thing. And then for some things, you have to remember those arguments forever. And then there was this, then it started supporting this values file. With the values file, you could fill it in with YAML. I feel like that's a step in between GitOps. And that's what I definitely did for a long time. I would have my values YAML for each Helm install, and I would use that, and I would save that, because then I knew like what the values were, and I didn't have to use a CLI. GitOps is like the next version of that, where it's like, okay, now I'm committing this code and pushing it up, and a Git flow is how I make changes on my repo. But it's also good for documentation, like this thing, like Rancher. I install it with GitOps. I couldn't tell you the values I use anymore because I never have to use the command line. I never even have to install it myself. I just get and push up, a Rancher folder, and then it takes care of it for me. So figuring out the hard stuff once for GitOps just pays over and over and over after time. But yeah, it's I've always had problems installing lots of stuff. It's stuff, especially stuff as complex as Rancher, because it's a management tool for Kubernetes, and also the way that they do their ingress, and K3S comes with an ingress controller, so there's a lot of things you either have to disable or change afterwards. So it's tough. But let me know if you need help. I've done it quite a few times. Cool Web. Troubleshooting RStack. Issues getting ready to migrate all 3 of my servers into one box. Epic CPU and 256 gigs of RAM. Ooh, I like it. So So, all right. So you migrate all of your servers into one big box. All right. The EPYC CPU. Yeah, this is the whole like consolidation, or break it up. Consolidation or break it up. It's just, yeah, I go through it a lot. It's just similar. I mean, a lot of places go through this. Like, do you specialize or do you generalize? Do you specialize or generalize? In a lot of corporate work, a lot of people, those roles flop back and forth between. Yeah, we should have generalists and then we should have specialists. And I feel like I go through this a lot too with my servers. It's like, do I have one big server or do I have three? How much complexity do I introduce at home just to do the things I want to do? And this is exactly going back to saying, man, I feel like I need to be a little more pragmatic about stuff. It's one thing to learn. I love it. I love learning new stuff. But it's another to struggle with something for a couple of days. And that's where I'm kind of like, okay, is the one flag I'm missing worth it in the end for the 3 days? Yeah, for me it is. But, how many days did I lose? Cadis said F it and went with creating a single large VM for Docker containers on my home server rebuild. This is exactly what we were just talking about. Been messing with TrueNAS, and while I can see its benefit, it's way too locked down for me. Cadis, all right. So you went from, I assume, TrueNAS to one big box for your home server rebuild. Interesting. So I assume. I know you say it's too locked down for you. I'm curious, like how are you going to fulfill all of those other things? I know Docker. I know Docker will give you all of the apps and services that you need, but like, what if you need NFS? Are you just going to create an NFS share in Linux? It's super easy to do. Same with SMB, same with everything else. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. Yeah, I go back and forth between this too. Now I'm on the side of like, do I just do, hey, Dark Zion. Thanks for the bits. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Appreciate the bits. Thank you. While we're at it, Shan Oust, Hella Dub, Fight Stick, and Obsidian Hall. Hey, how's it going? Thank you all for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. But going back to what I was saying, I'm just like, how much effort do I put into getting this cluster, of Kubernetes at home working exactly the way I want to? And I'll, to be clear, I had it exactly the way I wanted to work before, and it was working. But I decided to tweak some stuff while everything was, torn down. And now I'm just like, again, I'm like, yeah, it's analysis paralysis. I'm telling you, that's kind of what I have right now, where I just need to pick something and stick with it. But going back to your comment, yeah, I'm curious how you're going to solve the storage stuff. I mean, you probably just say, hey, I'm just going to install NFS and create an NFS share and call it a day. Same with SMB, because it's pretty easy to do, especially with configs. Horizon, what do you guys recommend to start with Kubernetes, courses, docs, etc.? For me, it's videos. And for me, it's first, it's going to be some quick overview. There's this one video that's like, explain Kubernetes in a kid's story. It's about 5 minutes long. I would probably watch that first so you kind of get the super high level. And then if you want to go the deep dive and really kind of listen more than follow along, I would look at Tech World with Nana's like 1.5 hour long video, or I forget if it's a 4-hour course or a 1 hour video. But at least watch, a good portion of that to kind of understand how things work. And I will say this, like, it is confusing and complicated, but really it's just a new way of thinking. There aren't that many new technologies in there. They're just named something different. They're just named something different. Processes are kind of like containers, batch or cron jobs are like batch jobs. Load balancers are load balancers. They're just a little bit different. Persistent volumes are volumes, block storage. It's just new terminology and orchestration around that technology. Because, I mean, yes, there's a difference in the technology, but if you can wrap your head around what it means non-cloud native, then you could probably say, okay, the cloud native way or the Kubernetes way is like this, and it's a little bit different. But then you have so many APIs, and you have so much orchestration, and you have so many things to help you make sure that you either have your services running or that you have the desired state that you want. It's kind of what it is. Kubernetes is big state machine, and you tell it the state you want, and it's pretty guaranteed that it's going to do exactly that. It's going to try its best. I should put it that way. If you're doing the API stuff right, you can almost guarantee that it's going to work. I mean, I fire off kube control commands and whatever. I never think twice about it. I just know it's going to work. I mean, if my deployment's right, a lot of caveats to that. But I never have to worry, is Kubernetes really going to give me 3 replicas of this thing because I told it to? I don't even check. It's that dependable. But yeah, I would try to do that. Jim's Garage has a good series on it. All right, I didn't know. Yeah. Check it out there too, Jim. I gotta check him out. I gotta see if he's got a series on it on Kubernetes. Rocky Schroeder, best and cheapest. Oh yeah, garbage. Ooh, Melkosoft, how's it going? Good to see you. G'day says g'day. Good to see you. Let's see. James Hawking Gaming. Watch your Colo infrastructure review video. It was pretty good. Very cool that you're open to your community's feedback. Yeah, has a lot of comments. Threw one in myself. Hey, no problem, James Hawking Gaming. Yeah, absolutely. This is exactly what I was just talking when I kicked this stream off. Is like, it's awesome to have, like an interactive community of people to like bounce ideas off of. I'm not here to tell people how to use things and how to do things. And be super opinionated about everything. That's not me. I have a way that I work. I have things that work for me, and I'm going to share those. And, most of the time when I've made a decision, just know that I've thought about it a lot, probably more than the average person. But it's always nice to say, okay, I've thought about this. Is there anything I'm missing? Is there anything that, I could do better? Or that, or I have like my blinders on, or, you don't know what you don't know. So there could be stuff out there that I don't even know about, and because I don't know about it, I'm not using it or not considering it. So it's awesome. I love it when people comment on stuff like that, because it's super fun. And this is why I do this too. I mean, I get you guys' feedback all day. Yeah, it's awesome. All day. And I love it. And I get a lot of ideas from you too. Jim's Garage got me started with K3S. Awesome. Some cool scripts. Not ready for RKE2 yet. Yeah. I've done RKE2. I'm kind of there. Pretty much the same. I mean, both made by Rancher. Pretty much the same. One's just a little bit closer to upstream Kubernetes, and they have different ingress controllers. There's different things that are included with them, supposedly, that RKE2 has like a lot of security built into it out of the box, because they're targeting like the government, the public sector. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool. On a day-to-day basis, are you going to notice anything? No. Would you be able to tell it's RKE2 or K3S using kube control commands or anything possible? No, you won't. And that's I guess that's the promise of some of these, most of the distributions of Kubernetes, is that they work like Kubernetes. They just do things a tiny bit different. So, but yeah, I use, now I'm on, well, I was using RKE1, RKE2, and K3S. Now I'm only K3S and RKE2. So it's fun. And why do I have both? Just so I can say I'm running both. So if someone asks me, are you running it? I could be like, yeah, I am. And plus, if there are weird edge cases, I can test them on both. Cadus, the Ansible playbook is awesome, but I'm in the mindset that people new to Kubernetes should learn how everything works before using a script. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so yeah. I think you're referring to my Ansible playbook where it spins up highly available Kubernetes for you. Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of there with you. But what I don't like is, well, one, I don't like gating anything, and I'm not saying you are, but just saying like, you can't use Kubernetes until you understand 1,500 command lines. Nah, that's not me, or nor how I think people should learn. Not saying you're doing that. But a big struggle that I found, even for me, was just getting Kubernetes running. Just getting it running is a monumental task. Like, getting it running outside of the cloud with K3S is a huge task. I'm just going to say that. Like, it's, back 3 years ago when I did it, it was just like, yeah, it was super hard. Not too many people were doing it. Now it's everywhere. Now it's everywhere. And so I built that playbook Hey, real quick, Obsidian Hall, dude, how's it going? Thanks for this, dude. Thank you so much. Tier 2 sub, thank you. How's it going? Good to see you. Thanks again. 3 months. 3 months. Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, what I was saying, like I built this because I didn't want people to struggle with getting Kubernetes running, and that would be a source of frustration, so that they wouldn't try Kubernetes at all. And so I saw that a lot of people, like when I first did my Kubernetes stuff 3-4 years ago, on YouTube, I saw a lot of people struggling with just even getting it installed. So I created tutorials and then I created a playbook. But that ended up being like a source of their frustration as to why they would not try Kubernetes. And I was thinking about it, I'm like, at the end of the day, how many people in a professional setting are actually going to go install Kubernetes? Very few, very few. Either it's bootstrapped for you from something else, it's there when you get there, or it's in the cloud, right? And so I was like, okay, well, there's this whole host of people that just want to know how to use Kubernetes, and not necessarily be the operator, the ops person that takes care of Kubernetes. And that's why I decided to create the playbook and make it super automated, because there's a lot of people who just want to learn Kubernetes and maybe not learn, what does it mean? How do I bootstrap this and get all the certificates right? And, the K3S token isn't working and or expired. Those kind of things. I kind of wanted to remove those barriers. So, yeah. But that's, in a nutshell, yeah, exactly. I totally agree. I totally agree that the playbook is awesome because I made it. But I do think, though, that I think there's room for people to explore even if they don't fully know it. And that's why a lot of times I still, if people want to install Rancher because they want a UI, because they want to explore stuff, go for it. That's why do I, install my apps and run my, clusters through Rancher? No. For me, it's pretty much read-only and discovery. But at the end of the day, you have very few options when it's self-hosted when it comes to, those types of toolings. Kubernetes dashboard is one, but you have to have God mode privileges with the token. And Rancher is another, and really it's for provisioning and managing multiple clusters, but some people just use it to manage a cluster of one. Anyways, yeah, it's awesome. It's super fun. Modest Tim, how's it going? Ordered a new, to me, 2U Supermicro yesterday to replace my media and TrueNAS servers. Awesome. So a 2U. So I'm thinking, I don't know how many drives you can fit in a 2U. Is that a 12 bay? I don't know. But pretty awesome. If you're saying your media and TrueNAS servers, it's got to have a lot of bays. So it's got to have a lot of bays. Two is 12. All right, nailed it. I know my use. RK2, yes, not much different. I totally agree. Yeah, every distribution of Kubernetes is not different, and it shouldn't be. Every distribution of Kubernetes should stay pretty close to upstream Kubernetes. Otherwise, like you're down on some fork of Kubernetes that might get stagnant or might get left behind. So yeah, all the distributions should be like 99% of the things you want to do should just work. Right? Just like mainline Kubernetes. And yeah, so I mean it's like, Linux distributions, based on Debian. Most of the time everything's going to work from a CLI point of view. But you get different things included with it. That's like that example blown up, on a microscopic view, But yeah, it's all distributions should be really close. And RK2 is super close, because it's made by Rancher also. A Spectruck, it's taken me weeks and weeks to get my head around K3S. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, but just keep on. That's what I say. Just keep on, because once you start getting it, it's super fun. Pizza Geek, yeah, for sure. Tim's got some videos from, before automated deployments. Yeah, and that's how you learn. Thank you. Yeah, exactly what I was talking about earlier. Yeah, I used to do it all manual. I mean, I would create load balancers in Nginx and stuff. I even did the MySQL install before etcd. I've been doing this for years, and so that's what I was trying to remove, was that frustration on like just getting it running. Because not a lot of people in the real world want to like take care of Kubernetes. They want to use Kubernetes, And so, yeah, I mean, take care of it from from an infrastructure point of view. I mean, there's care and feeding even on the cloud versions of Kubernetes. I just mean like, the actual virtual machines and everything, or whatever the host that they're running on, and taking care of it like that. Have you had a chance to look into iMutba? Twingate, I did. So it's a VPN solution. I did. I glanced at it really quick. There are so many VPN solutions out right now, and so many like overlay network stuff out right now. I'm just so confused on how each one differentiates themselves from another. And, how does, one product compare to another, and why would I use one over another? I mean, I feel like, in the last, ever since WireGuard came out, I feel like there's just been an explosion of VPN stuff, which is awesome. WireGuard came out, a new way to do secure tunneling, and then it was added to the core of Linux, and then everyone went crazy on it. So, I still need to figure out, like, when would I use Twingate versus everything else, versus, you name it. So yeah, I have looked at it. I saw they have a free version, and then I'm like, okay, so does WireGuard. Okay, there's a free version of all these things. How does it differ? So it's tough. It's tough. Aspect, I gave up at one point and tried Docker Swarm. Ooh, yeah, but Kubernetes kept calling me. Yeah. So Aspect took. Yeah. I don't want to be the one to say it, but yeah, I mean, Swarm is, and don't take this the wrong way, but for all intents and purposes, it's deprecated. I know that it still is out there. I know it can still be installed. And I know it's still running in people's, clusters, and I'm sure it's fine. But the development for it has pretty much stopped, and there's been a clear winner in this space 1,000 times over, maybe 1,000,000 times over, which was Kubernetes. So I would say, like, I would use Swarm sparingly, and by sparingly I mean just like if you're working for a company and you have to support it for some reason. And again, this isn't to say like, hey, someone's infrastructure sucks, or like you shouldn't be learning that. But I think that time spent learning Kubernetes is better than time spent on Docker Swarm, unless your job requires that Docker Swarm. Absolutely, because yeah, it's like what the world runs on right now, and so it's good skill to learn. Xavier's T, how's it going? Morning. Just woke up, yawn. I feel like I just woke up too. I've had this weird thing. I've been last 4 days have been super tired. Yeah, I'm still doing my normal stuff, still getting up, still working out, still, everything's the same. But I'm just super tired. You can probably tell from my eyes. They're like kind of like this. Morning. Anyways, Cadis, I see you covered the secret project back there. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, So in my last video, I recorded the whole video with something secret back there. And then I was editing the video. I'm like, I get it that there's Boca. And I get it that no one can really figure it out, unless they have, the sci-fi enhance where it sharpens it. But I didn't want to be the reason why this thing got out. So I covered it up. I put Boca over it in the last video. And then I was like, now it just kind of looks weird. And at the same time, like, I mean, I knew what was under there. So when I put the Boca on it, I was like, can I still understand what this thing is? Yes, I can, because I know what it is, but can other people? And then I just slapped dark mode logo over. I was just like, I'm just going to put this here, make it look ridiculous, and make it, absolutely look like I am hiding something, because I am. But anyways, yeah, it is. Hopefully soon. Good day. Does anyone know if I should install Zabbix agents on TrueNetScale instance? I don't know. With TrueNetScale, I'm hesitant to drop into a CLI and install anything. I mean, that's just me. I try to treat TrueNAS just like I treat Proxmox, like an appliance, right? As if I can't do the thing. As if I can't SSH and do the thing. Even though, I'm guilty of SSHing in to create, folders for my storage, whatever. But I'm not going in and installing, doing an apt and update and changing my sources and then pointing it to Debian and then installing stuff. I don't know. Personally, I don't. So the way to solve that is either, hey, is there's something in their app store that allows you to get Zabbix Agent on there? I would hope. Or is there a more open way of doing it, scraping through some other mechanism? I'm not sure. Or piping it somewhere else and then scraping that. I don't know. At the end of the day, like, if that's what you want and that's what you get, and that's what you need, it's there. That's, it's built on Debian Linux, so you can do it. Personally, I'm in the camp where I'm just like, ooh, don't want to be like off on an island someday and it breaks, or and everyone else is on the latest version of TrueNAS, but I'm not because I did something weird. That's just me though. Let's see. Any advice, career advice, for career change, moving field? I've been working on help desk for 10 years. I love tech and what I do, and the people I work with makes it hard to move. I hear you. I hear it. People is a big reason to either leave or stick with your job. What field of career do you think I should look at? Oh, that's tough. I mean, you say you want to move fields and move careers. I assume you still want to be in tech. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, if you still mean in tech, I mean, personally, I would try to find some kind of field engineer stuff. I mean, if I were working at help desk, that would be me. I'd want to do field engineer stuff to like get my hands on stuff and see a lot of problems and fix them, kind of in person. But that's just me. That's the route I would go. Or, I mean, it just depends on what you're interested in. You have a good level of IT knowledge, I assume, from working on help desk. I mean, what are you interested in? Are you more interested in maybe, doing some coding or doing more operational type stuff? Care and feeding for servers, or, you name it. There's so many things you could do. I kind of, when I worked as tech support a long time ago, the progression was always help desk to tech support, which was basically like, a field type engineer. And, so that's the career path I saw a lot of people go. But I mean, we're talking like 20 years ago. I don't know if that still is. But if I were you and I still wanted to be in tech, and I would totally go after an ops role, or for me, an operations role, or the DevOps, or site reliability engineer. I don't know, because to me that stuff's super interesting. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell without knowing. I'm a builder too. LOL. I'm a builder. Yeah, I'm a builder. I build stuff. Cadis, Home Assistant is always the first thing I get set up. Yeah. Oh man. And it's, I agree. That's exactly what I'm struggling with right now. So I'll shed some light on some of my frustration for the last 2 days. I want to get Home Assistant back up in Kubernetes. I've done it before. The way I did it before was I would just pin it to a node. How would I pin it to a node? I'd set an affinity for that pod to basically attract itself to a specific node, or use a node selector. There's so many ways to do it. But I would basically say, hey, Home Assistant, when you spin up, you're going on this node. That node lived on the IoT VLAN. And I thought, hey, while I'm making all these changes, why not do something a little smarter? Why not have my 3 nodes, just run all of my workloads, and then I would use this thing called Multus. This is a deep, dark path. Multus to basically expose those pods or those workloads to those VLANs. So my idea was like, hey, now this Home Assistant can run a node 1, node 2, node 3, wherever it wants, and it can just listen on a network adapter and get onto this virtual network, and that's awesome. Because then I didn't have to put a node dedicated on the IoT VLAN where like only one thing runs. I was like, well, if this is the only thing that's going to run on here, what's even the point? Like, I might as well just install HASS.io and call it a day. So yeah, that's what I've been figuring out, and I'm so stuck. I just can't figure out what to do. Anyways, that's exactly the point I'm at. I'm like setting up Home Assistant. And again, I have my volumes and everything backed up. Cannot figure this thing out. So I'm right there with you. Home Assistant is kind of the first thing I set up too, because a lot of things are controlled by it or alert me by it, And so a lot of things are down right now in my home. It's about 80-20. if you try to turn a switch on, if it's really going to turn on right now, or if you tell Siri to do something, about 80-20. Until I get Home Assistant back up to connect to HomeKit to connect to all my devices. So, yep. Let me grab a sip. PC Geek tinkering with finding some new things to try out in K3S cluster. Yeah, that's me all the time. That's me all the time. Yeah, I peruse a lot of stuff like container registries and configs to see what's out there for sure. You got forward auth working with Authentic. Yeah, that's what you told me. Yeah, congratulations. That is a Herculean effort. That is a Herculean effort, but awesome. Definitely worth it if you want to host and you want to do OpenID Connect stuff. Pretty cool. OIDC. Mr. Technician, I've got fiber installed this week, but I'm seeing extremely high latency. Ooh. From 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Oh, interesting. I still trying to see if Lumen will fix that. Meanwhile, I'm about to buy a rack, UPS, new switches, the whole 9 yards. All right. You are upscaling, I guess. Yeah, that's interesting. Between 8 and 9 p.m. That's that's internet rush hour. That's internet rush hour. To me that says it's getting too busy. But with fiber, you shouldn't have to worry about that. I guess it depends on where that's terminated or if it's shared. If your whole block shares something going back to somewhere else, who knows? But if it even, fiber, you should just have like unlimited, not unlimited, but a lot of bandwidth, more than a block could probably push. But yeah, I hope you figure it out. I gave up on Authentic. Yeah, it's super complicated. It is for sure. It's kind of like the, it's basically like an enterprise solution. It's an enterprise solution for someone who doesn't want to do third-party auth or pay for something like Ping or pay for some other service. And so you're like, to heck with y'all. I'm just going to host my own. Yeah, it's definitely more of an enterprise type solutions for sure. Obsidian Hall, if you're doing Kubernetes from scratch in 2024, how would you approach it? Oh, yeah. What would you carry over your current setup? Obsidian Hall. Ooh, the real questions. I feel like I'm on 60 Minutes. This is a good question because I'm right here in this right now. This is exactly where I'm at. So if I was doing Kubernetes from scratch in 2024, how would I approach it? What would you carry over from your current setup? This is exactly what I'm going through. Now that I separated my public stuff from my home play stuff, is exactly what I'm going through. The last 3-4 days has been just this. I've gone from, I've tested RK2, I've tested K3S, I've tried with Rancher, without Rancher, I've tried Calico for a CNI, I've tried Flannel or Canal now for a CNI, I've tried Cilium for a CNI, I've tried nodes in specific VLANs, I've tried Multis to give VLANs to nodes. It's all over the place. I haven't tried a different storage because I'm pretty happy for the most part with Longhorn, and I don't have enough to run a Ceph cluster. But if I could make a wish list of everything that I want, and I had enough hardware for it, it just depends. I feel like I've made a lot of the same decisions that I had before. A lot of it was because, I was comfortable, and I guess I shouldn't just be comfortable, and that's what I'm trying to do is not be comfortable anymore. It's part of the reason why I put my stuff in a colo, because I've been way too comfortable for way too long, and I wanted to kind of stretch my boundaries on what I know. But yeah, I think I'm going to tell you what I'm going with right now. Right now, as of 2 o'clock today, 2 hours ago, I've torn down my cluster so many times. I'm on RKE2, that distribution of Kubernetes. I'm using Cilium for a CNI. I was on Calico, and I said, tack with it, I'm going to try this. I would have went with K3S plus Cilium, but it's a little bit more difficult to bootstrap it, and I thought, I don't want to be, on this island again. So as if RKE2 plus Cilium isn't, on some island. Kind of is, but a little more mainstream than probably K3S. Who knows? I'm still using Longhorn for storage. If I could have enough hardware And I would build up a Ceph cluster and try Rook Ceph. I would definitely, if I get enough hardware someday. If I could just build a little, even a mini Ceph cluster here on my network. If I get 3 more mini PCs, I will do it. I would love to have 3 more mini PCs. Should tell Asus to send me like 3, because I would use that to build like a dedicated Ceph cluster. It'd be super fun. And then what else? I don't know. And then I'm trying to think like then there's the bare metal versus virtualize. It's super easy for me to do it in Proxmox. I've always wondered like how hard is it to do it if you virtualize it. Or I'm sorry, if you go bare metal, it's a lot harder if you don't have a BMC, but then you could use something like a PyKVM. So there's always that too. Like, could I do, a bare metal version of it? I'm sure I could, but like, would I be happy with it? There are times when I roll back my etcd nodes. Like if I made a change accidentally, like if I made a disastrous change, like deleted all this CRDs, your custom resource definitions, and if you delete those, the definitions, those are the definitions, but the things you created from them, think of it like a class. If you newed up, like if you had a custom resource definition of certificate, right? And then you created certificates, lots of them, and accidentally delete that, boom, all your certificates are gone. So I've been in that boat to where I'm like, okay, that stunk, but you know what? I got a backup. I can roll back, just shut down my cluster, roll back my etcd nodes because they're the brains of the state of your Kubernetes cluster. Roll them back to like 4 hours ago. Turn the guys back on, and I'm right back to where I was. So that's hard for me to let go of, knowing I have that escape hatch for backing stuff up in general. So it's tough. It's tough. My hypervisor is always it's the OS I put on almost everything unless I need to do something different. So yeah, that's tough. So I don't know. This is good to think about. These are the kind of things I'm like going through. I just released. I just got stuff in the colo. I just separated my concerns between home and away, and now these are exactly the things I'm going through. So yeah, it's good questions. It's I don't know. Stick with me for the journey, because I am sure a lot of them are going to be coming up in some of my stuff too. So I don't know. Good stuff. And you basically touched on everything I've been going through over the last 3 days. Even like I said 2 hours ago, I ripped out Calico again. I said, that's it. Enough. I'm just going to like slog through Cilium and figure it out. Anyways, those that are interested in Kubernetes and being like, what is he talking about? Anyways, XavierSD, with an instant replay on the monitor right behind your shoulder. Yeah, I will confirm it was a scratch and a pick. Yeah, it was a scratch. Thank you. I do have the delayed instant replay, and it's weird because like, yeah, it's just weird because I have a delayed instant replay of that here, and then back there is the super delayed instant replay of that. But yeah, thank you. It was a scratch, not a pick. PC Geek, I didn't know you could deploy Harvester in K3S. I thought it was the other way around. Deploy Harvester in K3S. Well, yeah. Kind of. I mean, yeah. I guess you don't deploy it in there. You deploy Harvester, and you need to have a Rancher cluster to basically adopt Harvester. So yeah, maybe it was a terminology difference, or backwards. You could call me Sultan. AFK Tactical, Tim, tomorrow I transition from a career in a retail supply chain. Whoa, thank you so much. Dude, Takano, how's it going? 40 months. Dude, thank you so much. Takano, how's it going? 40 months, man. Let's go. I'm tempted to buy a Brocade switch with 16x 10 gig, 16x 10 gig, 48 1 gig, and 240 gig ports for $80. But I've heard a lot of issues with Brocade not playing nice with other brands, other SFP plus DACs or modules. Yeah, dude, that is crazy. That is some crazy bandwidth too. I think you'll figure it out. I think you're gonna end up buying it. I kind of have this feeling. But dude, thanks for the continued support. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. AFK Tactical. Tomorrow I transition from a career in retail and a supply chain into tech. Oh, awesome. Making a career jump. I will be an app developer. Oh, not awesome. And manage a 3D printing lab for a local university. The skills that I picked up from your streams, YouTube and Discord, have been huge in getting this transition. Thank you for providing this excellent content. Hey, AFK Tactical. No, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Dude, it's all you. It's all you. So congrats on the new job, making a big change from a career in retail supply chain to tech. So probably huge pay bump. So congratulations. So many things to celebrate there. Just keep learning. Just keep learning. And yeah, this stuff that I put out there, I'm just having fun and showing you all what I did last week, and it's still the same. And I think that's how it's going to be for a while. So I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Glad you learned something from him. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like, what am I even talking about? Kind of like now. So I'm going too far. But hey, congratulations on the new job. Tomorrow, be yourself. Stay humble. Yeah, and just be hungry. Oh my gosh, it was so loud. I don't know what just happened, but that was so loud. Oh, dude, AFK, that was gifted sub. That was so loud in my ears. Wow, dude, AFK Tactical, dude, thank you so much. So that's what a gifted sub sounds like in my ears. I don't know if you guys heard it, but oh my gosh, I got to figure out where the mute button is on that guy. Dude, anyways, dude, Birmingham, Mini Scruff, D2 Nice 2, Dr. Cuddle, how's it going? Ant Sweatpants, enjoy your gifted sub from AFK Tactical. Dude, thank you so much. Yeah, tomorrow, I was just going to say, take notes, ask questions, be humble. And in the words of Biggie Smalls, be humble and treat every day like you're an intern. So just be hungry, and go after it and stay positive. You got this. But awesome, dude. Thanks for the gifted subs. Appreciate it. Let's see. Multis time. LOL. No Multis time. I'm 2 seconds away from throwing Multis out the door. I'm 2 seconds away from throwing Multis out the door for Kubernetes. It's driving me crazy. Pre-Immortal. Hey, Tim, watched your video on architecture review. Noticed you were copying and pasting your app directory. Yeah, just wanted to let you know Flax is a guide on monorepos that uses customizations to deploy multiple clusters to a single app directory. Hey, thank you. To a single app directory. Just want to let you know Flux has a guide on monorepos that uses customizations to deploy multiple clusters. Oh, that is cool. That is cool. I didn't know that. Yeah, so in my Flux repo, I have multiple clusters, and then a lot of my stuff is duplicated. It's duplicated. So there's a lot of copy pasta in there. Sometimes it's duplicated with one change, but most of the time it's not. So yeah, that is good to know. That is good to know. Yeah, because I use a monorepo. I have 5 clusters in my Flux Git repo right now. And I'm in the middle of moving stuff around and tearing stuff up and breaking things right now. So yeah, good to know. I'll have to look at that again. I'm just doing it based on a long time ago when I was like, how do I bootstrap 2? And I was like, oh, just change the folder path and copy and paste everything. But yeah, good to know. I'll have to look. J Vibin, building a NAS, deciding how I want to set it up, thinking Proxmox with TrueScale and Ubuntu VM for hosting a media server, still exploring what additional things I want to set up. Yeah, so yeah, that's you got it. You have all the things right there that I use. Yeah, if you have one big solution, if you have one big server, it's going to be, Proxmox with TrueNAS virtualized, and then hopefully, disks physically attached and passed through then to that virtual machine. Should be all good. And yeah, throw some Ubuntu nodes on there, servers. Yeah, that's all my jam right there. You got this. You'll figure it out. Geno Sai. I take a lot of photos and friends with family. I just recently started backing them up to an external hard drive for easy access. If anything ever happens to me, because I know my family wouldn't know how to get into my NAS. Oh, I like it. So at first I was like, whoa, I see what you're saying. So you're basically saying, hey, on top of keeping these photos on my NAS, I'm also backing them up to a hard drive in case one day, I don't come home and someone wants to know how to get the photos off of here. Yeah, yeah, we talked about this a little while ago, but Yeah, I definitely need to write something down on like how would one do anything if I didn't come home, especially one that was not technical at all. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's like funeral planning. For your home lab. It's something that's kind of morbid, but at the same time, it's like, well, if you want things to kind of continue to work, what? How do things even work? And I would just be like, no, just don't even attempt it. Well, here at home, things would run for quite a long time. Certificates would renew. Things would kind of, sort of work for a long time. But eventually, something might break and not work. So for me, it's just like, just get rid of it all. Just get rid of it. Get rid of it all and go buy a home router and reset every device in here and connect to that. Using Fleet. Oh yeah, so Fleet. Yeah, I haven't used Fleet yet. So Fleet is a GitOps tool for a multi-cluster GitOps tool by Rancher, which I keep wanting to look into it, but the adoption rate's kind of low, so I'm kind of like, yeah, and I'm liking Flux a lot. Oh, using Fleet at the minute. Yeah. It seems interesting for sure. Marcus Kusnal. I finally caught a stream over here in the UK. Yeah, nice to watch. Oh, it's about what? It's about 10 there? Maybe getting close to 11 or a little after 11. Oh, that's good. So Sunday night. All right, same. Yeah. Can't confirm skipped frames. Yeah. That did for sure. It was a long one. Nice egg. Have built my own home lab over the last few months with only a couple services open to the public via Cloudflare tunnels. Awesome. Tunnels, however, only support HTTP traffic and not TCP. Yeah. Any suggestion of how I can expose game servers without exposing my IP and have it still behind Cloudflare? No. You buy it. You buy the load balancing service. Yeah, so you're running into is, hey, I use Cloudflare and I'm using their Tunnels product, and mostly I host web services and those work, but I have a game server that I want to put behind the proxy to obfuscate my IP and go through that tunnel and run the game. Well, you can't because they limit which ports can be used. So yeah, that proxy is only forwarding HTTP, the protocol. And they do SSH, and I think they do RDP too. So there's a couple extras they sneak in there. But yeah, so your options are let people know your IP. Not the end of the world. Still not good. Because then, whatever. All the stuff of someone knowing your IP. Hopefully you have a good firewall in place and things are still, maybe that's the only port you have open. So at the end of the day, are you really that protected? Maybe. Because anyone then with your, anyways. So there's, hey, give someone your IP. Probably not the best thing to do. Then there's, create a VPS in the cloud. Really cheap one, $5 one. And then use something like WireGuard or Tailscale, I guess I should say, which is based on WireGuard. Use something like Tailscale to then create, a tunnel from that VPS back to your home. And while you still won't obfuscate your VPS's IP, that virtual PC's IP, at least that's better than, not giving away your home IP. So, and then there's other things too. I don't know. But me personally, I did it once with, I forget the solution, Zero Tier. That was super complicated. I did it once with Zero Tier. I did exactly that. I was doing game hosting. I ran into the same things you ran into. And I was like, should I give people my home IP? Not a big deal. But, I got a big target on my back, I guess. So I was like, no, just when I was doing game hosting for anyone who wanted to. Then I was like, oh, okay, create a VPS, set up in Zero Tier. It was still kind of like, it was super complicated in Zero Tier. And at that time, Tailscale wasn't around. So if I could do it all over again, I would do it in Tailscale. And then, pay for a $5 VPS. But then if you're paying $5, like why not have the game host a game server for $5? Maybe not. But yeah, but you could also find super cheap free VPS hosting, I think too, or even Oracle Cloud has that crazy ARM-based solution that you can divide up into 4 and just have something super low power. So, yeah, exactly. Free VPS in Oracle or GCP, yeah. And you just need the bare minimum. You just need the bare minimum. And then install WireGuard on it, Tailscale, and then connect them. Boom, you're done. And then point your DNS. You would then point your DNS to your public IP on that VPS, and you would disable the proxy because you can't use the proxy with TCP ports. It's like a different layer in the stack. Different layer in the stack. That's like layer 2. And HTTP is 7, I think. So, yep. Otherwise, buy their load balancing product, which is super expensive, which is why they don't let people do this, because they have a product that solves exactly this, which is their load balancing solution. So, yeah. Jay Vibin, have you ever heard of Git Butler? I haven't heard of Git Butler. I feel like this is a joke somewhere. Git Butler. I feel like this is like, hey, I feel like this is The Simpsons, where someone prank calls. I have been pranked before on here, but I haven't heard of Git Butler. Hopefully I'm not saying anything that's like offensive, but no, I have not heard of Git Butler. Records SRC. Oh, yeah. So source, yes. Service record. Yeah. So there is. Yeah, you could use a service record if the game supports it. Yeah. I did this too with Minecraft. It was Minecraft. Yeah, exactly. Good call. So there's a way you can kind of get around it. And you basically have a service record behind in your DNS that points to it. It's kind of complicated, but yes, and if that's what you want to do, I think it's SRV. Google like Minecraft, SRV, Cloudflare, and I think you'll find it. Yeah, good call. I forgot about that too, Kate. It's a good call. Marcus Naw, if only the UK fiber network was good in the US, less than 1 millisecond to your colo is insane. Mine is unfortunately 16 milliseconds to my services. Not bad, but nothing compared to your latency. Yeah, I mean, 16 milliseconds is still pretty good. I mean, that's super fast. I think, that's super fast. I mean, I live 5 miles from the co-location, so yeah, it's pretty crazy to think. Wow, my ping's pretty low, but at the same time, speed of light, 5 miles, it's cruising. It's cruising, but yeah. I used to work Obsidian Hall. I used to work with Shakan at GitHub. His new hustle looks pretty interesting. I don't know what Shakan is. Am I even saying it right? Shaka Khan. That's what I feel it. Shaka Khan. I want to say Shaka Khan. That is not how it's pronounced, but I want to say Shaka Khan on stream because I will never get the chance to say it again. Shaka Khan. But his new hustle looks pretty interesting. I need more hustles. Oh, that looks super cool. Yes, it does look super cool. All right, the values. Here we go. Core count. The values used to install are all stored Helm secret for the release. Yeah, good call too. Good call. Let's see. Techno Tim, have you set up tooling like Renovate to auto-update your releases and GitOps? Yes, I did. Jack at Bandcast. Absolutely, I did. Yeah. I use Renovate. Yep. Use Renovate. I get pull requests all day long. And I probably have some pull requests sitting out there that I need to approve. But that's awesome too. Yeah. So once you go to GitOps, then you can have Renovate, which is think of it like Dependency Bot, right? But it's a self-hosted open source version. You can have it scan all of your YAML and analyze it to say, hey, are there any updates out there, right? So you have a Docker container that you're pinned to 1.0, and it will go and check to say, hey, I see you're pinned to 1.0. Let's go see what the latest one out there is. And it'll say, hey, 1.1 out is now, and it will compare it to yours, and then it will open up a pull request and say, hey, we found 1.1. Do you want to merge this pull request? And for me, I'm like, heck yeah, I do. Merge that thing right away. It's almost like instant merge. I don't even know why I don't have instant merge. And then that kicks off, Flux, which will then start to pull down the latest image and get your containers up to date. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. Another reason why I like GitOps too is because you could do exactly that. I mean, you could do, if you're in a larger team, you could even do, pull requests and peer reviews and code reviews on that pull request. Get more eyeballs on it. But yeah, Renovate is so awesome. Yeah, I have a video on Renovate too. I love it. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. The one thing I wish, and maybe this is, in the mono repo scenario, they might have a solve for this. But going back to how I have a mono repo, one big repo, right, for 5 clusters. Sometimes I'll get a pull request for, hey, let's update traffic. Let's update traffic across 5 clusters. And sometimes I wish it was like, sometimes I wish it would just break those up. I get it. Like maybe Renovate has a way to do it for mono repos, and maybe I just need to define like, hey, this is a mono repo. But like when I have 5 clusters, all wanting to update traffic at the same time, things can go wrong, because it's highly available and it'll wait to switch one out, but it's like this cascading thing where it just, and also pulling all of those images on all of those nodes, and it's on shared infrastructure. It's kind of like, yeah, that's my only thing. And I'm sure they have a solve for it. They have a solve for everything, but I need to look into it to see if they have a way to do individual pull requests for a mono repo. And I would turn it on right away. Because like my kubevip, 5 updates to kubevip all at the same time, and that's my Kubernetes API. I'm like, kind of want to just test on one. If I do this to all 5 right now, like I have no more way to get into my cluster. So it gets kind of scary. But so you talk about this awesome thing, and I think it's awesome too. And then I go say, hey, I wish you had this. Maybe I should suggest it. But I bet they have it. They have everything known demand there. But yeah, I love it. KOS, K3S, Kate's 9, Kate's. No, I think we got them all. So K0S, K3S, Kate's, and then K9S. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I'm sure there are. There's K3OS, and then it's just put Kate and something else in the middle. And it all stems from Kubernetes and Kate's. Then how the ways to shorten words with like, hey, this word is like internationalization. I forget what it's called, but that I11N is because there's 11 characters in there, and so they take the first and last, and then they's like, hey, it's 11 characters. Same with Kubernetes, it's that same idea. I don't know what it's called, but just it seems like just some old time thing where it was like computers couldn't handle that amount of space or something, so they're like, I know, I'll shorten it this way. I recommend Yams. All right. I don't know what Yams is, but I will eat some Yams. I will. How does use Renovate Bot? He does use. Oh yeah, sorry. I was like, how does? I'm like, I think it's about that time. Good to see you. No, TrueNAS was in my VM, only acting as a NAS. No, TrueNAS was in a VM, only acting as my NAS. Gotcha. Jay Vibin is here to ask, hey, do you recommend Nginx Proxy Manager for SSL certs, for certificates? I'll say this. So I'm a huge fan of Traefik, mainly because I'm doing it the cloud native way, and that's just a fancy way for saying, I'll use it in Kubernetes, right? So I expect Kubernetes stuff out of there. That means it's super complicated, but also I have a lot of flexibility, and I can run it highly available. I can run multiple, I have a lot of flexibility. And so I would say, and even on the Docker version, it's still pretty complicated. Why? Because it's all YAML. So I'll say this, like Nginx Proxy Manager is a fine solution. If that's what you if that's what you want to use, if you want to, have a UI to configure this stuff and just make it super easy to get certificates and make things secure, absolutely go for it. You want to do something a little more challenging and you're going to do it in Docker and you don't really need a UI and you want to use labels and fancy stuff so that you could take advantage of all of this stuff on all of your other containers without going into a UI every time, then hey, I think Traefik is a good fit for that. So I also think Traefik's a good fit for Kubernetes too, because I can create UDP, TCP load balancers, not only, reverse proxies or layer 7 stuff. So, yeah, I'll just say, yes, I can recommend it. I see nothing wrong with it. I know that they've had whatever security vulnerabilities in the past, but a lot of people have had that. I would just say, don't expose the UI publicly, personally, should be good. I don't know. I haven't looked at it in a long time, but I did use it. I did use it for a period of time. before I started getting into traffic and stuff like that, because I wanted to do exactly what you're doing is, hey, I want to get certificates. I want to get certs on this stuff. So, but yeah, I say go for it. If you want a UI and want it easy, go for it. I see nothing wrong with it. Renerick, hi, Nomad versus K3S. I have no opinion. That's a lie. So I have an opinion, but I don't have an informed one. Never used Nomad. I totally get it. It's I understand what they're trying to solve. It's orchestration, of containers or pods or something. Orchestration of your services, right? And Nomad's trying to do that too. I just don't see a lot of adoption with Nomad, and those two solutions, are trying to achieve a lot of the same things. They just go about it a different way. And nothing against Nomad. I've never used it. Like I said, I don't have an informed opinion. But when I know, when you compare any other orchestration framework to Kubernetes, it's like 99-1. And so, me personally, if I had to, let's say I ran a small company, and I was CTO of this company of 5. And I was responsible for running containers, and I would go with K3S. Why? Because there's just a huge community behind it. There's a million examples of things going right, and there's a million examples of things going wrong. So that's what I would choose. Mainly because just the huge community around it, the support around it, the things around it, everything around it. I mean, it's just a huge community of people and a huge community of software around it too. It's just too big to go say, well, I want to do this thing kind of different because I want to do something different. And that's the way I look at it. It's like, you got to change my mind. You got to change my mind, and it's got to be something that's not subjective or something that will make me switch for whatever reason. And so, like, my default is Kubernetes. Pick your distribution, but my default is Kubernetes, unless there's whatever different use case. I can't use it. Someone tells me I absolutely cannot use it, or my job depends on it. I'd probably look for a different job if someone ever told me that. But it's like my default. That's what I go to, just because it's and it's not because like, hey, I love Kubernetes, which I do. But even if I hated it, let's say I hate Kubernetes. Let's say I hated orchestration frameworks, container orchestration stuff. I hated both Nomad and K3S. Let's put it in that perspective. I don't like either of them, but I got to choose one. Don't like either. Why do they do this container stuff? VMs are fine. I can install whatever I want. But hey, they're making me pick. I would pick the one that has a bigger community, a bigger support, a bigger, just a bigger audience overall. Bigger ecosystem, it's just like, yeah. And at the same time, you're kind of picking up some skills that can be transferable, if you learn a whole bunch of Nomad skills, that's not too transferable. I mean, maybe it's transferable to K3S or Kubernetes somewhere else to say, yeah, kind of get it, that's like this on Nomad, and okay, that's like this on K3S. Kubernetes is highly transferable. I mean, you could, like doing Kubernetes at home. You could manage Kubernetes at home. You could get really, really good at managing it, and then you could jump into that position at a company, right? Because you learn these skills. Probably could with Nomad too, but then you're very limited on the company that runs Nomad. I'm just thinking like, I'm thinking like the 10,000 foot view, like, hey, I'm going to invest my time. How am I going to invest my time? Something. And this is, I'm saying, outside of exploring and outside of having fun, if I'm going to, choose my time to learn something, and time is so precious, am I going to learn Kubernetes? Am I going to learn Docker Swarm? Or am I going to learn Nomad? I'm absolutely going to learn Kubernetes because that transfers everywhere, and I could list that on LinkedIn or on my resume, and someone would be like, awesome, he already knows that. Or awesome, they already know that. Sweet. Halfway in the door. Now we just need to see, if the personal skills check out, Whereas with Nomad, it'd just kind of be like, Hey, I mean, who knows? I mean, it could be like the COBOL in the future, where like now COBOL developers are like getting paid like the big bucks because they're supporting something that's been around for 40 years. So, not to make fun of COBOL, because I know some people do it, and it's pretty lucrative to do that because hey, you have the skill that not a lot of people have, and maybe that's Nomad right now. I'm not sure. Anyways, I don't mean to go off on a tangent. If you're doing this at home and you want to learn, absolutely go for it. But if you haven't done any, if you haven't done Swarm, you haven't done Kubernetes, haven't done Nomad, and you're just saying like, hey, which should I choose? Kubernetes. It'll just get you a lot further. It'll get you a lot further. I mean, I can't even count on my hand how many people I know that have ever tried Nomad. I'm being honest. No one. I haven't met anyone who's done it, and that's nothing against the product. I'm sure it's fine. It's just mind share. It's hard. You know, it's hard. It's going to be hard to unseat Kubernetes. You know, they got in early, and they gained a lot of mind share, and they got like all the big companies around the world to agree on something, like they've never agreed on before, and that's Kubernetes. So, anyways, oh man. Okay, yeah, no, it's an unfinished product. Yeah, changed my mind. I'm not going to. I'm not going to change your mind. It's an unfinished product. Absolutely. All software is unfinished products. All software is never done. You know, the fix is in the next release. The feature you want is in the next release. You know, it integrates with the thing you want in the next release. And so I will say software is never done. And Kubernetes is a software product, so you're exactly right. So I'm not going to change your mind. I'm not going to change your mind at all. You're exactly right. Software is never done. You are never done. You are never going to ship something unless this is like 1985 and you have an NES and you program a game on an NES and you sell it and you think, well, that software is done. I can never make a change to it again. We don't live in that world anymore. Unless you're sending, something, we don't live in that world anymore. So software now is never done. It's always changing. As long as you have, people who care about this product to continue to enhance and fix it. So, it's never done. And I'm kind of doing that tongue in cheek because, it's software. But at the same time, even if it's an unfinished product, you still got a huge ecosystem behind it, And if everything was included, if all the batteries were included with Kubernetes, I think that would kind of rub people the wrong way. That's why some people don't choose certain distributions of Kubernetes, because they have certain things baked in, and in order to use them, you got to rip them out right away. And so, but it's software's never done. I'll stop there. Kubernetes the hard way. Good luck on that. Step 1. CD into a directory. And then, Kubernetes the hard way. Yeah, for sure. Like compile it and build it all yourself. Woo. Hi, Tim. Hey, Guilherme. I'm here. I'm not even going to try. Hi, Tim. Just stopping by to say hi. Nice stream for you. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Not Linux. Linux is fine. Let's see. ChaiCon, I'm going ChaiCon. Do you have any recommendations? A lot of Kubernetes stuff. See, I can't get away from it. I try to get away from it, and people still ask, hey, do you have any recommendations on using K8s with TrueNAS as a solid storage? I've seen K3s on TrueNAS be flaky, and I'm wondering if NFS might be my only choice now. Let's see. So let's break this down. Do you have any recommendations on using Kubernetes with TrueNAS as solid storage? I've seen K3s on TrueNAS be flaky, and I'm wondering if NFS is my only way. So I think you're saying like, hey, so I kind of get what you're saying. You're saying like, hey, like I need a storage solution for Kubernetes, right? For K3s. K3s ships with, this is part of the reason why people are like, I don't want K3s because it ships with this local storage provider, which I always turn off. But K3s needs storage, and so they've included this local storage provider that basically says like, hey, if you need to read and write from disk, just read and write to the local disk, right? But you're saying like, hey, I want to use something outside of my cluster, right? I want to have storage provided outside of my cluster. And I've used NFS before, and that's kind of flaky, Is that because it's TrueNAS? Is that because it's NFS? And then after that, follow-up question, Is there something better that I can get out of TrueNAS for storage on K3s? I think that's what you're asking. And so there's a couple of things. So one, yes, NFS is flaky for a lot of stuff in Kubernetes, right? When it comes to, I mean, SQLite databases is the classic example of as to why I never use it anymore. Because SQLite databases, it just does not like them for permissions, for anything. It just does not like SQLite databases over NFS. So if you're not going to use NFS, you're not going to use a file. You're not going to use a file share. Your next solution, which I would recommend, is using something that provides block storage. So a file system, right? Instead of just files over a share, you want a file system. And if you're using TrueNAS, you're in luck because someone wrote a storage provider for TrueNAS, storage provider for Kubernetes that connects to TrueNAS and is able to provision storage, block storage, S3 storage, all kinds of storage, even SMB shares, as your storage backend for all of Kubernetes. So that, I mean, if I was like, hey, I have a huge NAS that's running, which I do, but anyways, if I have a huge NAS that's running TrueNAS, and I have this little, this cluster, this high performing cluster, and I got a good network connection between them, yeah, I would do that. So it's like something called the Democratic CNI Container Storage yeah. So CSI. Democratic CSI or something. I don't know why it's called Democratic, but I've read it like 5 times. I'm like, does this really say Democratic? Anyways, just Google TrueNAS, Democratic CNI, CSI, K3s, and you'll find it. And it's on GitHub. And that will allow you to use TrueNAS as your storage provider, which is awesome, right? Because if you're already using TrueNAS, you have snapshots, you have backups, you have this highly available kind of sort of storage, right? You have multiple disks, you have cache backing, you got ZFS on it, you got ZFS cache, you got L2 Arc, you got a slog going. And then why not put Kubernetes storage on top of that? Yeah, why not? I mean, you built up that infrastructure to make that, TrueNAS NAS pretty solid. Like, yeah, why not? Why not put it on there? So I'm kind of in that boat too, where I'm like, man, my TrueNAS runs, it's pretty solid. And I put a lot of things into it to make it run really well. Dual 10 gig NICs. I got 256 gigs of RAM or something crazy. And I have a slog. I have an L2 Arc, I'm like, why aren't I using this a little bit more for my Kubernetes storage too, So anyways, check it out. I've honestly never done it because I chose Longhorn and then I went with it. Maybe I should look at it. Maybe I should look at it too, so I have more of an informed decision. So that's what I would do. Man, I'm like way over. You guys okay if I'm way over? Are you guys okay if I'm way over, or should I? Yeah, I think it. Let me just grab a couple more. Let me see. I'll grab one more. Does RGB really give you an extra 10 to 20% CPU speed? Yeah, I mean, depends on the color that you're using, right? Depends on the color. If it's red, absolutely. Yeah, red just makes things faster. So you got to be sure to choose red. If you choose green, you're kind of getting, you're getting a little bit more efficiency, I think, out of it. You get a little more efficiency. Purple gives you a little more redundancy, and blue gives you a little more cooling. But if you play your cards right, I peeked there. If you play your cards right, you could mix and match them. So yeah, absolutely, yeah, it does. Try it. Try it sometimes. Oh, let's see. Big Blue Blade. Kates can fail, so always think of observability and alerting. Yeah, good call. This is a good call. Yeah. You have to think about this in the beginning. I know a lot of people want to think right away about all the stuff they can run on Kubernetes, but you're exactly right. Things go wrong. Things go bump in the night. Things go bump in the day. Things go bump for no reason, right? And so you have to think about observability, like ways that you can inspect and see, the state of Kubernetes to inspect and see what's wrong or what's right? Observability, logging, metrics, all that stuff. and then make log metrics or alerting based on those things that you see, or just it being down is probably a good one to have. So absolutely, yeah. I think you should spend some time if you want to run Kubernetes for real. Absolutely, set that stuff up right away. Set that stuff up right away because you don't want someone else telling you that your service is down. It's like egg on your face. Is it egg on your face or pie on your face? I don't know. But when someone else has to tell you that your service is down, you're kind of like, yeah, thank you. First you say thank you, and then you say, yeah, I should probably know if my service is down. So I agree. It's tough once you start going into that realm too. Again, analysis paralysis. Like, what the heck do I use? I hear about all these things like, Prometheus, Grafana, Alert Manager. Are those still the best to use? Why are they so complicated to configure? How do I expose all those endpoints on all of those services to even scrape that data? And then how do I set up proper alerts so I'm not getting bugged all the time just because my CPU spiked for 2 seconds? Then again, there's a lot of decisions, but I think the first decision is just admitting you need it and trying to implement something. If you got cloud stuff, it's super easy. Like all that stuff's baked into to cloud providers. That's how they get you to stay there. But for sure. Let me go. I'm just gonna go with this Demonix 4. He's the fourth Demonix. How do you go and diagnose? How do you diagnose and resolve pod scheduling issues? Always wonder how to investigate and resolve these issues. Yeah, so yeah, good question. So this is pretty common. Hey, Helpo Eco. Hey, thanks for the tier 1 sub 7 months. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And Noble Alien Brother. Brother. I feel like I'm talking like the Hulk. Brother. Dude, thank you. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. But yeah, thank you for the continued support. So your question is, hey, how do I resolve pod scheduling issues? So I'll just reel it back for anyone. In Kubernetes, you basically have a replica set. Not going to go too much into detail, but let's say you want, when you deploy a new service, you basically say, I want one pod, right? I want one pod. It can be anywhere. That's the nice thing about Kubernetes. Just run one pod. Sometimes it can say like, hey, like I can't schedule this one pod because of whatever reason. This is kind of what you're asking is, how do I diagnose and troubleshoot this? First thing I would do is describe the pod. I would do a kube control, describe pod, the pod name, right? And it might tell you some information. You might glean something out of there, like, hey, there are affinity rules, or like they're kind of, I don't want to say archaic, but a lot of times it's really hard to figure out what they mean until you start doing it, or you Google them. But there are reasons why pods can't get scheduled, right? Let's say you put a label affinity on them, and you said, hey, you can only run on nodes that have an A, label on them. Hey, thanks for the raid, JD Does Dev. So let's say you put you put a selector on it. You say you can only be on whatever this selector. You can only be on nodes that have an A label, right? And there are no nodes with the A label. Then you gotta hurry up and add a label to one of the nodes, or make sure that node is up. That might have been down. There's all different kinds of ways, but I would describe the pod. I would describe the deployment. I would do kube control describe pod, kube control describe deployment, and I would look in there. And in the deployment, you're usually going to see like states listed out, like whatever, pulling image, progressing, failed. Why can't I get scheduled? And you're kind of going to see what's going on in there. But what's common ones are labels. Maybe you're over capacity, right? You might be over capacity where the resource requests that you're putting on your cluster as a whole has now exceeded this thing, right? I've run into this too, where like, I have a pod that needs a full CPU, one full CPU, right? And then, and I have a request for one full CPU. Well, all of the, I have 3 nodes, and it can't fit, it has an allocation table that says like, hey, so far this node is using I don't know, 900 MI. And then I try to put something that needs a full CPU, and then maybe I don't have enough compute left on there. So it's like, hey, hey, sorry, I can't find, I can't preemptively, it's super weird. It's like, cannot find any preemptive yada, yada, yada. Basically it says like, hey, I can't fit this anywhere, and I can't kill anything off to get it in there because you want all those things in there. So you usually have to grow your node. So there's tons of ways, but really it boils down to describing the pod, describing the node, and kind of gleaning from there like, oh, I kind of understand what's going on, or Googling what you get back, and you're like, oh yeah, I have no idea what this error message is, but the helpful part is how to find the error message, and I think that's the helpful part. So yeah, that's how I do it. That's how I do it. Resolving them is kind of tough. Like I ran into this while doing my cluster. I mean, I've run into this 3 or 4 times, like moving my cluster around. Some of the reasons I just ran into it were some of the reasons I explained because I used those examples first. But on my old cluster, I had node labels like IoT, trusted, but now that everything at home is only trusted stuff, I removed all those labels from the node, but I still had a requirement in the deployment that says you have an affinity to only run on, labels or nodes that have this label of IoT. So I go and deploy it, and I tell Kubernetes, hey, this is a desired state. Give me one Home Assistant. Give me one Home Assistant. I don't care where you put it. Oh, by the way, but make sure you put it on a node with the label IoT. So Kubernetes gets it, and it's like, hey, yeah, I'm cool with this. Like I want to do this for you, but I can't find any nodes that have a label of IoT, right? And so that's where things get stuck sometimes. It can happen for resources. It can happen for all kinds of things, all kinds of reasons. And the cool thing is, I mean, depending on the service, but you have a replica set, and hopefully your previous replica set is still running. So it's like, hey, I tried to do this thing, I can't do that thing, so I'm not going to make any changes, which is pretty cool about Kubernetes. It's just like, I'm not going to run any changes, so you're running a previous version of that service. But anyways, it can happen for so many reasons. Yeah, I hope that helps, but it's I'm running into that all the time. I mean, that's probably one of the number one things I face at home when shuffling stuff around is that I've made changes. I've changed labels. Selectors are different, and they just can't fit there. But anyways, long story short, kube control describe pod. Look in there. Kube control describe whether it's a daemon set or a deployment, but look at the deployment and it'll tell you something. That's fair. Kubernetes super. Yeah, it is. Playbook. Oh, the playbook is great for creating repeatable installs. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. It's super. It's super fun to just build, tear up, test something, tear it down. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. PC Geek. K8s is the full distro of Kubernetes. Yep. K3s is slimmed down. Yep, and made efficient by Rancher Labs. Absolutely. That is absolutely right. Yeah, K8s is just yeah. So there's the big distribution of Kubernetes, yeah, and then everyone has flavors, and Kubernetes K3s is a limited version of that, where they stripped out a lot of the cloud-specific implementations because it was meant to not run in a cloud. So I mean, if you think about it, if you think about K3s, they were like, hey, I want something lightweight. We're going to run K3s on Raspberry Pis. We can't have all of this. We can't have all this cloud code. Like who cares about a cloud? Who cares about GCP? Who cares about Azure? Who cares about how you request a load balancer in Oracle Cloud when we're not in the cloud? And so they tore all that code out. They're like, okay, we don't need this, don't need this, don't need this, don't need this. And they tore it all out. And they were like, okay, cool. So now we have a lighter version of Kubernetes. Oh, but what would happen if we allowed it to run in SQLite? Oh, what would happen if we just didn't even have etcd and ran it on a different database, put our state there, and they started doing all these different things. I will say, though, that like a lot, and so that's the reason why you have to add, I'll keep going down this thought, and that's also the reason why, if you've ever used K3s, why you have to add Metal LB into there. Because in the cloud, when you request a load balancer, cloud load balancers say, hey, I just got a request for a cloud load balancer. Here's a public IP. Here you go. Well, you're not in the cloud and you don't have that code there anymore. And so that's what MetaLB does is it simulates that so that when you say, hey, give me a load balancer, it'll, Kubernetes is doing a thing. Hey, give me a load balancer. But this time, instead of the cloud doing it, you have MetaLB saying, oh, okay, well, I got that request. Here's a load balancer IP based on this range that you have. And so that's why you got to install it MetaLB too. So, but yeah, it's, yeah, but on top of that, like I guess the other point I was getting to too, it's, once you start using etcd, you start to lose some of the lightweightedness, if that's a word, that comes with K3s. And so that's where I was kind of like, okay, well, if I'm running etcd, which is in memory database, and I'm kind of putting that weight back into the cluster and doing all these adding these things back, it's kind of like I guess you kind of lose some of that. But anyways, it's still super lightweight. It's meant to run on the edge, and it's great. It is great. I got no complaints because, it's like my first Kubernetes distribution. I mean, I use Kubernetes at work and stuff like that. But it was the one I ran at home. It was my first one at home, which I use RKE now too. But yeah. Anyways, wow, I went on for a long time, mainly because it's Sunday, and I was like having a good time. Thank you so much for turning out today. As you know, it's Sunday, a little bit different, and that's because I had to move some stuff around. So thanks for tuning in today. As always, I will keep, I will try to always keep Discord up to date with that event. If things change, I'll put a notification in there, and I'll switch the event that is in Discord. If you want to continue this conversation, or you said something, or you want to talk to me, or talk to anyone most of these people are in this channel, you can absolutely do so by joining our Discord. We have a Discord. We're getting close to 10,000 people. It's a partner Discord. And a lot of people that are interested in tech, interested in home labs and networking. There are people who aren't interested in Kubernetes, believe it or not, as much as I just talked about it. There are a lot of people who aren't doing Kubernetes, so don't feel overwhelmed. It's not a place to just talk about Kubernetes. I mean, we have a hardware channel that blows up all day long. So, I would love for you to join. If you'd like to chit-chat with people and talk about tech throughout the day, you should absolutely join. You could use exclamation point Discord or just Google Technotim Discord. Thank you so much. There were so many new follows. There was bits, there was subs, there was resubs, there was gifted subs. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Greatly appreciated, never required. And I'm just happy for all the people here chatting. All the people here chatting, and talking about nerdy stuff. That's enough for me. And so I appreciate it. Everything else is like icing on the cake. So because, it's because cake is still good without ice cream, but, icing. Yeah. Anyways, I'm losing track of what I'm saying. Thank you so much. I will be back here next Saturday. So next Saturday, not Sunday. If you need to get notified, there's no ways to get notified about that. Otherwise, check back 3 Central Saturday, and then I should have something out this week. Hopefully I get my cluster back up and running, because this is like this is me. I start doing this like hyper focus on the one task and ignoring all the other tasks, like I'm kind of doing now for dinner, I think. So, anyways, I gotta wrap it up. Hey, have a great weekend. Dark Zion, hey, thanks for the follow. Distracted Dad, hey, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. You all have a great Sunday. I'll see you next week, and be good to each other. Take care, folks.